It's no secret that Mercedes-Benz is one of the most recognizable car manufacturers in the world. They are at the forefront of the automotive industry, thanks to German engineer Karl Benz, who patented the first vehicle with a gasoline engine 135 years ago. This event marked the beginning of the entire history of the automotive industry, and although the first car was a three-wheeled bicycle with an installed engine, it became the starting point for the development of modern cars. But as we know, everything starts small, and Mercedes-Benz was no exception. The company was officially founded in 1886, but its history began long before that, in 1871, when Karl and his partner opened a mechanical workshop in Mannheim. It was there, through trial and error, that a true miracle was created, the first Mercedes-Benz car. Karl Friedrich Benz, the founder of the company, was born in 1844 and showed an interest in mechanics from a young age. His father was a train engineer and died when Karl was only 2 years old. Raising her only child alone, Frau Benz did not lose hope and worked hard to provide him with a good education and a decent future. The boy had no difficulties with his studies. Thanks to his ancestors, who were blacksmiths, Karl was able to determine his future. He became interested in photography and watch repair in his youth, so he already knew how to hold a screwdriver in his hands. At the age of 15, he graduated from grammar school, and at 19, he completed his studies in technical mechanics. After that, he worked at a machine-building plant, but quit after 2 years because he lacked creativity. He worked at small enterprises and took on side jobs in repair workshops and factories. At that time, he already began to have thoughts about starting his own business. In 1871, Karl Benz founded a mechanical workshop together with his friend August Ritter. They also dealt with the supply of construction materials. But the business did not take off. There were few orders, and the workshop ended up in debt. Ritter left the company, and the firm was on the verge of collapse. Karl was devastated, but confident in his idea of creating an internal combustion engine. He turned to his future father-in-law, Karl Friedrich Ringer, for help, who lent him money. Benz bought out Ritter's share and strengthened his relationship with Ringer. In 1872, Karl and Cecilia Bertha Ringer became spouses. Bertha played an important role in the history of the creation of the car, providing support to Karl in difficult times. Karl began developing internal combustion engines for agriculture and industry. During the development of the engine, Charles Karl Benz was also working on another amazing idea: a self-propelled carriage. The first engine took over 6 years to develop, and on December 31, 1878, Benz received a patent for a 2-stroke gasoline engine. But this was just the beginning. In the next 3 years, he patented such well-known things as a battery-powered ignition system, spark plug, accelerator, carburetor, water radiator for engine cooling, and later a clutch with a gearbox. While Benz was experimenting, his workshop was repairing agricultural machinery and wagons to cover the expenses of his inventing activities. Money was always tight, but his wife always supported him. Initially, engineers used alcohol as fuel, but Karl was the first to decide to use gasoline. The first working version of the engine was completed and successfully tested in 1879, paving the way for new achievements. After 3 years, Karl Benz founded the company Benz & Ca based on his workshop and patented inventions. He attracted shareholders and invested money in a bicycle workshop. At this enterprise, he established serial production of gasoline engines and improved them for 3 years. In 1882, the company started producing and selling 200 engines. Karl Benz worked alongside his workers to achieve success. Once, he decided to design a self-propelled carriage for his wife, and this became the beginning of the automobile. The car was temperamental and unreliable, but it became the world's first automobile. Throughout 1886, the Wagen engine underwent testing. Karl patented his invention, stating that the weight of the car was about 100 kilos, the speed was 16 km/h, and the fuel tank capacity was 4.5 liters. On July 3, 1886, German newspapers reported the appearance of a horseless carriage called the Benz. Karl continued to work on the automobile, making improvements, and 6 months later, he launched the Model 2 into production. In 1887, the Benz automobile was presented at the World Exhibition in Paris. In 2 years, Benz sold only 1 car in Germany. And here is where the story happened. which later spread around the world, starting with the initiative of Karl Benz's wife. Taking the car without asking, she set off on a journey with her sons to visit her mother. This was the first promotional trip of a Benz car, which took place on August 5, 1888. Along the way, Bertha encountered several problems but managed to reach her hometown. Her story quickly spread worldwide, generating interest in this new wonder, the world's first female traveler behind the wheel. In 1893, Karl Benz released an improved Model 3, and after learning about the appearance of a four-wheeled car created by other German engineers, he also decided to develop his own four-wheeled car. As a result, the four-wheel Victoria model was released with a power of 3 horsepower and a speed of up to 20 km/h. 45 cars were sold in a year. The advertising of the BMC MSI company and participation in car races in 1894 also played an important role. In that year, the first car races were held along the Paris-Rouen route, with 25 cars participating, including the Wella model by Benz. In 1901, the new Mercedes 35 PS model was presented, which showed that the company was lagging behind progress. To improve the situation, the company invited French engineer Marius Barbaroux, but the relationship between him and Benz was tense. As a result, Benz left the company, and it was only with the arrival of German engineer Ganz that the company's affairs started to improve. Under the leadership of this person, the first and most famous racing car, Benz, was created with a powerful 200 horsepower engine. In the post-war years, many new models were released, most of which were successfully sold until the mid-1920s. The model range included cars such as Mercedes 35 PS, Mercedes Simplex, Mercedes 40-45 PS, Mercedes 65 PS. However, the company faced problems due to currency devaluation and market competition. The solution was to merge with another company, which led to the creation of the new Daimler-Benz concern under the leadership of Ferdinand Porsche. He took control of production and made changes. Under his leadership, models such as the Mercedes 2400 140 PS were created. In 1928, he handed over the management of the company, and Hans became responsible for the model range. In 1933, new models appeared, including the Mercedes-Benz 200 and Mercedes-Benz 380. In 1935, Max Zahler joined the company, who created models such as the Mercedes 170V and Mercedes-Benz 260D with a diesel engine. During World War II, Daimler-Benz continued to produce cars until it was subjected to 2 weeks of aerial bombardment. As a result, only ruins remained. In 1945, the board of directors made the decision that Daimler-Benz physically ceased to exist, but the company continued its activities, directing all efforts towards the construction of new factories. A major modernization of production was carried out from May 1949. In January 1952, an improved model with an enlarged body, the W191, was introduced. The W187 model was also released, occupying a place in the mid-segment. Thanks to these models, the company became the leading car manufacturer in Western Europe. After the restoration of production, the concern released a series of luxury cars, including the limousine with the number 186-300, which was hugely successful among large businessmen, celebrities, and politicians. In 1954, the W186-300B series appeared, and a year later the model was replaced by the 300C, equipped with an automatic transmission. Thanks to recognition among car enthusiasts, new resources emerged for the production of reliable and affordable cars. One such car was the new W120-180, production of which continued until the early 1960s. But the most popular model was the W180, with an engine power of 89 HP. The production of the large pontoon 220 series continued until September 1959. During the production of the pontoon cars, a solid foundation was created for the production of future models, and by 1960, the assembly of one car took only 25 hours. Daimler-Benz engineers developed a new generation of cars, focusing on safety, convenience, and classic design. You may be interested in the story of how the famous G-Wagen, Geländewagen, came to be. This model was initially made to order for Iranian Sheikh Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. However, the revolution in Iran in 1977 changed the circumstances, and the sheikh lost his power, preventing him from purchasing the car. That's when the military vehicle was transformed into a civilian SUV, which gained fame for its high off-road capabilities and reliability. It is necessary to mention interesting facts about the legendary company. For example, the Mercedes car got its name from the name Mercedes, or the nickname of the daughter of one of the partners, Daimler and Elenico, and not the daughter of Karl Benz himself, as many people think. The logo of the new company featured 3 N stars of Daimler, symbolizing engines for land, air, and water, and they were surrounded by a laurel branch with Karl Benz's emblem. Mercedes is valued by many for several reasons. It is status and comfort. Another interesting fact is that the world-famous entrepreneur Steve Jobs only bought Mercedes cars and drove them without license plates. California laws allow this practice only for the first 6 months after purchase. Jobs used this and then returned the car to the dealership to buy a new one. Another interesting fact is that for several decades, the motto of Mercedes-NG has been the slogan, "One engine, one person." This means that for every engine assembled at the brand's factory, one specialist is responsible, who checks the condition of the assembled mechanism and puts their signature on the documents, fully taking responsibility for its quality. In addition, Mercedes-Benz 770 cars, or as they are also called, Big Mercedes, are the most prestigious representatives of the automotive industry. Friends, that's probably all for today. Write your opinion in the comments about this amazing story. Also rate the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will go make the next video. See you soon.